Since there's not one in this room.
Well, that's close enough. I got really close. 6:59. I'm ready. If you
Let's go.
let's do it.
At least it came with a flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let the roll call show all that everybody's present. We do have a quorum. Approval of the agenda. Have approval of the agenda.
We approve the agenda.
Been moved by Councilman Stedler. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
And second by Councilman Hartke. Any discussion? Any discussion? None being, no further discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye, pose the same, motion passed all in the affirmative. Any communication from citizens? No. Anything online? Nothing online. Consent agenda. Can we approve the consent agenda?
I move we approve the consent agenda, both minutes and bills.
Been moved by Councilman Zant that we move the consent agenda as presented. Both minutes and bills. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Been second by Councilman Hartke. Any further discussion?
I have some questions on some bills.
You bet.
Is Fairview Lawn expense? So what do they apply, take care of, what area? Which one?
That's for the 4 different areas. So Town Park, Centennial Park, senior housing. The 3 with 4 applications.
Okay,
Trees. Was that for trees?
Bus station.
Bus
Bus
station,
Okay.
bus station, that's the one.
It's the lawn.
East Park.
Fertilizer for.
Yeah.
all.
And weed control.
Oh, okay.
okay. And then Mike Leach is taking a DOT test, what test? For
That's for a
For
CDL.
CDL, what part of the CDL, what, where
It's,
that cover?
it's his yearly physical.
Okay,
Yeah, there we go.
okay,
Yeah.
that's.
Yeah, you gotta have a physical every.
Medical, okay.
Medical. Yeah.
And then the last one is Companion Corporation. Is that for the library?
Yep.
Okay.
That's a subscription.
So I just wanted to clarify
yearly
that.
renewal.
Didn't even let me make a joke about that, but anyway.
That's all I have.
Any other questions? None being. All in favor to approve the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed the same. Motion passed, all in the affirmative. We have nothing scheduled for public hearings. No appearances, presentations by citizens, ordinance, resolution. Resolution 23-017, revenue and expenditure. You can tell us about that, Chris?
Sure. Resolution 23-017, a resolution authorizing the increasing of the FY 2024 budget revenues and expense for the town of Shoshoni. Whereas the governing body for the town of Shoshoni passed a budget resolution for FY 2024, including expected revenues. The governing body for the town of Shoshoni recognizes revenues for both unexpected sources and revenues in excess of budgeted revenues occur due to additional funding made available during the budget year. And whereas the governing body for the town of Shoshoni recognizes that increases in expenditures arise from time to time due to planned and unplanned expenses. And whereas the Wyoming Department of Transportation has provided additional grant funding enforcement funding for overtime in the amount of $20,000 for fiscal year 24. And whereas the governing body for the town of Shoshone recognizes that expenditure increases commensurate with unexpected revenue or revenues in excess of budget has a zero-sum outcome in the fiscal year budget. And whereas the Shoshone Police Department entered into an MOU with law enforcement agencies in Fremont County for a specialized countywide enforcement team, WYDOT provided additional grant funding for overtime in the amount of $20,000 for participation with the Fremont County multi-jurisdictional team. And whereas the governing body for the town of Shoshone authorized the recruitment and hiring of a full-time patrol officer position to be provided funding at such a time as the position could be filled. Now therefore be it resolved by the governing body of the town of Shoshone authorizes the town treasurer to increase the budgeted revenue of the following line items and in the amount specified commensurate with revenues anticipated in excess of budget. 1033-240 highway safety grant, $20,000. 1031-170 court fees, $2,700. 1031-180 police fines, $35,434. 1031-240 surcharge fees, $5,400. Now therefore be further resolved by the governing body of the town of Shoshone authorizes the town treasurer to increase budgeted expenditures of the following line items and in the amount specified commensurate with expected revenues to be received in excess of initial budget. 1054-114 salaries officer, $29,120. 1054-130 payroll taxes, $3,758. 1054-135 insurance, $4,600. 1054-140 retirement, $5,098. 1054-145 unemployment insurance, $204. 1054-150 workers' compensation, $3,004. 1054-255 vehicle gas and oil change, $2,200. 1054-626 WYDOT safety grant, $15,550. So in a nutshell, this is the resolution for increasing revenues for the WYDOT as well as the patrol position, which would increase revenues, and then the expenditures equal to the revenue increases for the position as well as the additional grant funding.
Any questions for the chief?
Move we approve resolution 23-017.
Been moved by Councilman Stetler, we approved resolution 23-017 revenue and expenditures. Been seconded by Councilwoman Hartke. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed the same. Motion passed all in the affirmative. Let's go down to new business. Employee retention bonus, would you like to brief us on what we passed in the past, chief?
So during the budget workshops and the budget hearings, initially 20,000 was allocated for bonuses for employees. That was based off a initial figure of $2,000 per full-time employee for the town. That was the initial budget. And then we've had some discussion back and forth since. So I did reach out to WAM for clarification. And here I did provide just an example of allocation methods that can be talked about, how it would finally look if you want to take a look at those. Sorry, they weren't included in your packet, but.
Thanks, sir.
These are just the three examples of how it can be done. It has to be equitable. And you can do it by position type, you can do it by department type, or you can do it across the board. And so these are just examples of the three different allocation methods of how they could look. Obviously, across the board, that one is plain and simple. The other ones, I just put the numbers in so you can have an idea of what it would look like. You can do it based off a same percentage across the board. You can do it the same amount, or you can do it by classification of position. Talking to Justin Schilling with Wham. Performance-based, since it's arbitrary and highly subjective, that is not a route for a bonus that you would want to look at using. So that's where we're at.
It's prohibited for us,
We'd get sued.
yeah. But this is gotta be equitable is the proper.
Equitable, correct. So,
proper-
and these were the three basic, what they would look like, based on what was discussed, budgeted, and what the advice from Wham on the methods that we could utilize.
I think we should just pay them all the same.
I think that's fair.
I think that's fair.
Sorry, was that a motion?
I make a motion that we pay it. Sorry.
You're saying like the middle option?
Uh-huh. Across the board.
So which one, two, or three?
Two.
That includes full-time non-benefited? Or is that something different?
Yes, no, that would, so we have full-time non-benefit as a classification, but across the board, anyone that, all of our employees are full-time, essentially except temporary workers, which wouldn't qualify for a bonus. So all of our actual employees are all full-time. For all purposes that are listed on here.
Let's second that.
Been moved by Councilman Harkey, second by Councilman Stetler that we pay across the board the same retaining bonus. That what we're retaining bonus to
That was-
all the full-time employees currently employed by.
Yes, sir,
Town of
that's,
Shoshone.
that was what was decided, was to be a retention-based bonus for incentivizing retention.
Right. Any further?
When do they receive the bonus?
Well, was budgeted for July 1st, so we can,
I mean, does it typically go out, is it a December last check of the year?
no, it would
Two
be
payments.
it'd just be a supplemental check.
So this payroll.
We could do it,
In November?
would be the optimum time to do it, I guess, is so you have
The
the,
next payroll.
and
We
so,
still have all the same employees.
So the question is, Mike, so is it one check or two checks? I mean.
it would be, it would be a,
We just split it half and half, so now then it didn't,
Hmm.
that ended it
Mm-mm.
yeah, no, we,
all at once.
yeah, all at once.
I'd like to amend the motion for clarification. That it be all in one shot on the next on this pay cycle.
I'll second that.
It'll be separate from the payroll we just ran.
And this does not go into their state retirement.
Nope, because it's a one-time bonus. We don't have to pay into state retirement. The only thing that does have to be paid is payroll taxes, which unfortunately the federal government wants to get taxes on everything that you make. But not retirement, workers' comp, all those are exempted from a one-time bonus.
And that's why it's run as a separate from payroll.
What's that percentage? 10%, 15% payroll tax
7.65.
on both parties?
Yes.
Yep.
So
So,
Social Security is for both, yeah.
yeah, so the
so it's
payroll,
really, it's this, and it's 2,000 less 15% is what it
Pretty much, yeah.
was.
well, when we did the budget, we had 20,000 for the bonus. The 7.65 was calculated in the actual payroll tax on the employer side already for that. So that would still come out of the town, not, the employee wouldn't pay 15% out of the bonus.
No,
They'd
they'll pay seven, they pay 7.5.
Correct.
Yes.
And then the other 7.65 would come from the town. But no retirement or any other surcharge.
Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose the same. You passed all in the affirmative. Town hall signage.
I put that on the agenda.
So I have an answer for you. So we're getting some drawings put together. One is gonna be that old post out there on the corner
It has electric.
that has electric already in it. And so they feel it'd be fairly cheap to put signage there. And so that'll be one. And the second component will be on the side of the building. With our address, of course, and then Shoshoni Town Hall, Police, Court, all.
South side, west side.
We haven't decided exactly what they're gonna
I
come up
think
with that. So
Okay, and the signage for, would it be possible for going to an electrical sign? That you could out on the corner?
on that corner, yes.
That's why we left the electrical there.
Right.
To do exactly that.
And so, one of those things that they have like, and coming into town, it'd be a lot easier to read it. You're going slower here.
Oh, yeah,
That's-
for sure.
Right,
And so he's gonna drop, we'll get some renderings of what that would look like, and then we'll take a look at that. And then the other thing that the mayor was talking about is, I agree on both sides of the building should have it, just so it's more easily noticeable. And then we'll get that kind of example of, how big the letters are gonna be, what color they're gonna be, all those things, and get that finalized, then we'll get that put up.
It's figured to be a lot cheaper for us doing it ourselves and having our contractor do it.
yes.
Well, how many change orders can you get on signage? Trent?
Well, I'm afraid to even make that guesstimation.
Couple screws, different color changes,
So
capital letters.
Spelled wrong.
You spelled wrong.
They had a nice sign on the original, the architect's rendering. But of course, that sign wasn't put in the documents, so probably saved it $28,000.
So we should have that, and I can get that kicked out as soon as I get the renderings back, so.
we can put it on for unfinished business next time.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll probably need funding depending on how much,
Yeah.
at some point we'll have to
So,
look at that. So.
just wanted to bring it up and say,
right,
where we at?
no,
Sufficient.
any further discussion, any ideas, other ideas on signage that we should be pointing down that direction? Okay. Hopefully have a better, more information next council meeting.
Good, yeah.
December 26th council meeting, is there any desire to have a council meeting December 26th?
He wants to stay.
Count, meeting of one?
Can we have a? Yeah, I hopefully by then, if there's an emergency that's earlier or later, we can try to figure something out, but I make, can entertain a motion to vacate that meeting.
So moved.
Been moved by Councilman Zent to vacate the December 26th council meeting.
I'll second it.
Been seconded by Councilman Markey. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye.
Right,
Aye, pose the same. Motion passed, all in the affirmative. Reclassification of job description. Kim, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Christopher said he was gonna go over that because he initiated it.
Okay,
So yes, I kind of initiated this. So what it is canceling a position that we currently have, chief deputy clerk. And so this would cancel that position and create a new position, police clerk and court clerk. So
what happened when we combined the departments, one of the employees at the time, when we created these 3 years ago, was fulfilling multiple different roles within the city, just for staffing reasons, and so we created a job that fulfilled all those attributes of that job. Now,
I don't think those are working.
they're working.
online.
Oh,
Yeah, we don't have speakers in here to amplify it. So what this does is corrects that for the actual working environment that is currently in place now in here. So that position would solely be working in the police department under the chief of police and also the court clerk underneath the judge, and would not as a primary duty have the obligations of utilities or the other town administrative functions as it was prior,
As a clerk.
as
As a deputy.
a deputy, chief deputy.
Chief deputy. Yeah.
So this, and if you look in the job descriptions, it still maintains as an additional responsibility, those components. So if in the absence of the clerk and the deputy clerk, then this position would be expected to still maintain and address those aspects of things as an additional responsibility, but not a primary function. And so it just changes its direct report for the position, as well as more accurately specifies the responsibilities of the position.
This reflects reflects the actual duties of that position of what our police clerk and clerk of court is doing.
And so now the position would actually is currently working in the police department. So when somebody calls the police department, they actually have somebody that can answer them. Because, the cops are usually out driving around doing their job. But now that person can take phone calls and then say, hey, I got a citizen calling, complaining about this. So during working hours, you can actually get a hold of the police department more readily available than having to call dispatch or whatnot.
Just one correction. I keep telling everybody we don't have cops in Shoshone, we have peace officers.
Yeah, we're peaceful.
Yeah.
You try, I'm peaceful.
No. No,
Move we accept the reclassification of job description for chief deputy clerk to police court clerk.
good move by Councilman Zet. Can I have a
I'll second it.
second by Councilman Hartley that we accept the reclassification of job description as presented? Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye. Aye, those the same. Motion passed on the affirmative. Department head report, police.
So first start with the resolution that was previously discussed. So that was formerly Sergeant Matt Smith, but he's coming back as an officer, not a sergeant. We have a sergeant now, so we're not going to fire our current sergeant, rehire him as a sergeant, then demote that. So he's coming back. His first day back will be December 27th. He wanted to wait till after the holidays were complete before he came back. So understandable. He's excited to be back. I think he missed, I don't think he expressed that he missed being here the last year and a half, and he can't wait to come back. So, and hopefully his spouse will soon follow this time.
There, I believe there, quite a few citizens will be happy to see him back too.
Yeah, he was
Very
definitely
popular.
one of the popular ones. I don't know why, but
It would be nice when any employee, a new employee, I'd like to have them presented at the council meetings, so we can say, when people say, who's that? And say, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Is that possible?
oh yeah, we can definitely on the first meeting
Any new employee.
reintroduce him in this
Yes.
case, but in the future, any other new employee, definitely introduce him at a council meeting would be good. I mean, obviously, Matt, everybody is
Yeah.
gonna know him, but still reintroducing him to let everybody know he's back. But in the future,
Well, I'm thinking of past experiences, people say, who's the guy who took Buddy's place?
right.
And so I think it'd be,
Well, now we have a nice little,
well, just a policy saying, well, we know who they are, we can tell people who they are, that's all.
Sure.
Just more communication.
I agree. I think that is kind of the norm most places around the state anyway, so it wouldn't be a good time to formally introduce them as a employee.
Thank you.
Other than that, on the police front, so our calls for service year over year compared to last year, we're up 95% for the month. Compared to 2021, 59%, and compared to 2020, 26%. For the year, we're now outpacing all the other years in the past that we've had just for call volume. We have had a few issues with some curfew violations, and they were cited into court. One thing that I did ask for, and I called for trying to get as many stakeholders as possible with the school district, as well as the court, our judge, and Fremont County Juvenile Services. I'm trying to get everyone together to have a conversation. What I want to do is have that manifest into something that results into a proposal for a new ordinance that's going to do something besides place a fine on juveniles, because it's not working. Fining juveniles does not have the added effect of deterrence in any stretch of the imagination. It just doesn't work. And so I'm asking the other groups to come together and try and formulate some better best practices, different ideas, some other way that we can approach this than just fining juveniles for things from vaping, which is a huge issue in the schools and around town, tobacco in general, but curfew and all these other violations that are status offenses, as well as some other things that the court doesn't currently have the power to address other than assessing a fine. And when you fine a 13-year-old $50 or $100, who's paying that fine? It ain't the 13-year-old. And the court has no power. So that's what I'm working on, trying to come together with that, and then working on forming that into some kind of an ordinance change to address some of these issues in a better way that's more of a fit for deterrence, but also more impactful than just putting a fine on a kid. So hopefully I'll have more information on that in the near future. Other than that, we did have an increase in warrants, as well as drug charges. We did have 2 K9 deployments and then 3 additional incidents of controlled substance in town. And for 1 month, though, we had no DUIs, which is a good thing. But the Fremont County Task Force that we did, we resulted in 3 DUIs in Riverton. So we are actively doing that. And those don't count towards what we do in town. Those are a separate ordeal that we handle. And so far it's been successful. I don't know if you read the headlines, but the first day we did it in Riverton on a Friday, right before Halloween, they had 2 calls for service the entire night in Riverton, which is unheard of in Riverton. And then the last one was in Lander. The next one will be here in Shoshoni. So in the surrounding areas of Shoshoni. So I won't tell you the exact date, but if you see a bunch of out of city cop cars driving around, don't speed.
Don't anyways, how about that?
Fair enough, but definitely not that big. But it's been very effective, and it's been something that as we transgress, kind of work some of the kinks out through the spring or into the spring, and especially to the summer, we expect to have a pretty big impact on deterring some of the issues amongst Fremont County, not just Shoshoni or Riverton, but all throughout Fremont County. So
I thought they should have like triple fines when they say, we're doing a DUI task force on this day. And if you get popped for a DUI on that day, you should get triple the penalty because they told you they were going to do it.
You still
that
did it, yeah.
day.
Well, and the hope is it's DUI is obviously one of the big measurables that we're looking at, but it's also lowering the incidence of fatal crashes and serious bodily injury crashes. So we're trying to hit areas with the hope of showing a measurable decrease in injuries, fatalities, as well as DUIs. And then, just with winter holidays coming up, domestic incidents were on the rise last month. We had a higher number of those last month as well. But that, for whatever reason, with the holidays, it's just cold weather, people being indoors together more often, they tend to not get along all the time. So that's all I got.
Any questions for the chief? None being, Mike, do you have anything you would like to bring to the council, concern, thought?
Yeah. Have nothing today.
Councilman Stetler, anything?
I was kind of curious where we're at on the signage over by the fast lane for the diesel trucking idling deal and all that, because I know there's still a issue going on.
yeah, I
Things were
know.
better.
It was ordered. I know
I mean, that's
last
been
week we
months.
responded 3 times to show, one resulted in a very angry truck driver that said he wasn't sleeping there, although he answered the door to his cab in his underwears.
Maybe that's the way he drives truck.
That's
He
not
was waiting for a phone
a
call.
It flip flops on,
Yeah,
that's how they roll.
so he quickly left town and went somewhere else, but I didn't get a chance to ask Mike Quiver if the signs have come. I know as I briefed the council, it was ordered. Where they're at, I don't know, but I will, without him being here, but I'll find out. I'll make it a point tomorrow morning to ask him what the status of the signs are.
I guess it's probably only gonna increase, I
Oh,
guess.
the winter time, yeah.
As the winter goes.
right,
and-
Yeah,
I mean, I know there's a amount that's unstoppable. I don't know if we had a better plan. I guess if, as far as who the residents could call or something, I know they don't.
Well, I have no problem. There's residents call me.
I know, but they don't
Well-
like bothering you.
Oh, I don't, well, I tell
Cool
them
thing
that
too
too. They can call me anytime they
is
want.
our new phone system, when somebody calls the police department, I get a notification that I had a missed call. I didn't know that was a feature, but apparently it is.
Okay.
So I can quickly call people back if
Right.
I missed a call, but, we also have that, we've got one that, the reporting system where they, texted that number, the text my gov number and it alerts us for idling trucks. I've had the mayor call me at, 11 o'clock at night, tell me there's an issue, because somebody called him.
Right.
So I called my guy that was out that day and
Yeah.
took care of it. It might have been 9 o'clock, I'm not sure what time.
It wasn't either.
Yeah. I was just kind of inquiring on how we're doing on that, because
We're trying to stay proactive
Yeah.
with it, but obviously,
The guy was parked right by the sign the other day.
yeah.
You could see the sign. He
Oh,
parked-
literally, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a sign is there. He is. Bull hauler, a lot of them bull haulers run straight pipes.
The only other thing we can do is
You can hear him.
flat out
inside this building.
close the entire road to parking. Absolutely just close it. No parking, period.
right. I don't know.
I mean,
Just keep hoping them signs will show up one of these days. It's
yeah, and I wish I had a better answer. I know they're ordered. I don't know what it is.
It was ordered some time ago.
yeah, it's been like a month and a half or something.
It's like 2 months ago, I think. It's been a
Yeah.
while.
All right. Well, that was my big complaint. I can only imagine the frustration. You buy a house next to a school, and next thing you know, you're next to idling semi trucks.
We shoo them off, but
There's an endless supply. I know it. But that was it. I just want to bump about that complaint.
Tammy.
I got nothing.
Touch. Shooting complex, there's a meeting, Friday and Cody, I'll be going to that. They're giving us a little better outline of what they're expecting. I know our group, our advisory group to the FCAG has identified 3 potential sites that all have pluses and minuses. We'll sort them out as we get more direction from the state. There again, we're gonna have to overcome some of the things they're looking at. The bigger towns have some advantages because of motels and cafes, close, we're close to Hot Springs County, which has some help there too, but also one of the advantage we feel that Fremont County has is the many different things that people can do while they're here besides just shooting. And if you look at the Whittington Center, which is the the world-class shooting facility in the country. It's not uncommon for people to, because Raton, New Mexico is around 7,000 people. Smaller, quite a bit smaller than Riverton. So people travel 100 miles away to be there to shoot when they're coming to do that. So that may be a little inconvenient, but people do that if they're coming to shoot because they'll bring a lot of people. Yeah, something interesting. The Whittington Center is not really. We've sort of asked for some cooperation, and they're refusing. They're looking at us as a competitor. Their director said, "Why would I want to help someone that's going to be a competitor like that Cameo Complex and Grand Junction? That's not a competitor." But what the state's talking about is building a real world class, and if they continue that could compete, and that's just. But that's what the state keeps saying. What the final option would be. They put out $10 million as seed money, but they realize it's going to cost a lot more. So we're going through that process. I think we're much better organized. We had a good meeting today, an executive meeting, and I think we got a pretty good team. We have Helen Wilson with the Windward Visitors Council is putting tourism information, and we've had her speak for us also. She presents well, a good speaker, presents well. Anyway, we're moving on that. I think pretty good.
What kind of, maybe I don't know or I've forgotten, but what kind of time frame are they? Like, do they have a?
We've gotten a rough out, March 1st. We have to have by March 1st, at least a letter of intent.
Okay.
We'll have more than that, but and anybody that doesn't have a letter of intent, they will be they're gone. They feel if someone, this is pretty wide known, it's been going on. So if anybody that's really interested, any municipality or county or entity that if they're interested, they'll have at least a letter of intent. And so there is going to be some sort of short list. We don't have a date on that may be in July or it may be further. They're calling this first one a pre-proposal. So just you can put some information about your site, but it's not required. Be as long as you have a letter of intent, but I don't know if it's going to be 90 days after that or 120 where they're going to ask for a proposal. I'm guessing something like that. Their timeline, they want to be able to break ground by 2025. That's a pretty ambitious schedule.
Right.
Because you're going to have, if they choose a site, they're going to have to go. Next thing they're going to need to do is choose an architect, an engineering firm to design it. That takes a little bit of time, and then put things out for bid. I mean, I don't know, but they said they'd like to be able to break ground 2025. They put that information out. I can email everybody. I got electronic form, just got it, information of what they've sent to us, and I can get that out to all the council members and what they're looking at. But it's we don't have the event center Casper, the complex that Gillette's got. We don't have that. I think we have a lot of other things that's important to shooters, and for things. And one of the things the state says is important for other things for the tag along, the people that come along.
Right.
The wife's a shooter, her husband tags along, whatever, something for them to do.
Something.
They were here for 3 or 4 days of a shoot. They might want to go to Jackson, or may go to Du Bois, or go to Lander, or go out fishing at the lake, go out, Castle Gardens. I mean, there's the military museum, go out to the reservation. There's a lot of tourism possibilities. This could be a huge economic generator for the county if we get it somewhere in the county. It'll be good for the state wherever it goes. I mean, I'm swinging for it here because it would be a real positive. And if we have it in Fremont County, it'll be a big ass, so Hot Springs County will benefit and be an asset that we're gonna tout, we can Hot Springs and what and amenities they offer. Or if they have it in Hot Springs County, it'll be a good boost for us. I'd rather see it there than have there, or Gillette.
Well, they'll come through Shoshoni to get to Thermopylae. That's usually.
Well, and then another thing, if they have it here in Fremont County, that we're central Wyoming, we are, or even Hot Springs. But anyway, they would be driving from all directions, coming through Wyoming, spending money, buying gas, eating all across the state, coming in and going out. If it's down at Cheyenne, they don't see much Wyoming maybe. So, I don't know. I think there's some big players in there but I think we got a good organization. We're putting together a good plan. I think we have a good opportunity. Sewer line, they've started work again. They're putting in the force line. Digging's going pretty hard, a little slower. They were hoping to be done by Thanksgiving on that part of it. I was talking with the engineer, he don't think that'll happen. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, the parts we're lacking for our lift station are supposed to be shipped, he was told. So depends on weather and everything else. We've been lucky so far. There's a chance it could be done in December. But that's what they're working on. I stopped by there this afternoon and looked at it. That's what they got going on and talked with the engineer on site. So that's sort of that, and then and we've been officially awarded the project for Rock Park. The trailhead. We've officially been awarded that. I think the award was a little over $330,000, I think, if I remember correctly, something like that. 330 or 340, something in that number. 342, I think. 342. So we have till 2026, is that correct? July of 2026 to finish that. So we'll look at, I don't know if we'll start that next year, probably, maybe not. We have those options to look at.
Yeah.
So,
A little more flexibility with the timing of it.
right. So, but in any event, so that's a good thing. There was only 4 of those statewide awarded. And we were one of the 4 that are very highly competitive. They're still looking at 8 others that possibly could get some more awarding, and there was quite a few others didn't qualify, but that's but anyway, so we put together a good proposal. And then it first came where it said we didn't qualify because our opening paragraph addressed it as I just did there as Rock Park. I did that on, but it's a trailhead. This funding wasn't for a park, but it's for a trailhead. That's just what we call, but it's a trailhead, and that's for that heritage trail. And that's what we're building that for. So, but anyway, I can't think of anything else that's any issues you can think of that I should be bringing up.
Not
Anybody?
till January.
Okay.
Why not till January?
to end of the meeting.
Oh, yeah. Okay, if there's nobody else, anything good for the town of Shoshone, I would like to have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Been moved by Councilwoman Harkey to adjourn a short meeting. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Stentley. Any further discussion? None being all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passed, all in the affirmative. Time 7:45.
Yeah, no, we're like a harbinger of things to cover.